What is Gucci YouTube? It's your boy, Black Uchiha 3, long face, skinny body, here with another Boruto manga related video for the historic release of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 13. We've had very few of these chapters, and I'm talking about even in 2 Blue Vortex, y'all. One of these, it's like the Kashin Koji reveal chapter. It's like the Omnipotence chapter. It's like the Baryon Mode chapter. Those 4 chapters, you know, where it's like something that happens in the chapter is so grandiose that we have no choice but to talk about it because the direction of the story is changing. It's really changing, and it's one of those chapters. And this is the first one. I'm gonna be real. Himawari's chapter 11 was probably my favorite. Chapter 4 is still one of my favorites, you know what I'm saying? But like this chapter changed the whole fucking game, bro. It changed the entire game. Now y'all know Mangekyo Uchihas, right? Koji being a not even an honorary like the one of the OGs of the Mangekyo Uchiha gangs has solidified his position in the story as the person like that takes the driver's seat. Now necessarily when we look at part 1, whenever Koji was presented on panel, he always provided lore, or, you know, lore was always provided with or around his character. And Kawaki necessarily took the driver's seat for part 1. So decisions made by Kawaki, actions made by Kawaki ultimately pushed the story forward and progressed. And whenever the story was in a stagnant point, not necessarily saying that as a bad thing, but in a point where it's stillness, whenever Kashin Koji was still part of the story and his presence was there, lore would be added, or, you know what I'm saying, more insight about the story would be added. And we see right here in 2 Blue Vortex, he done took that same role, but then added tenfold onto it because now it's been revealed, my nigga Kashin Koji, with the prescience ability, the ability to see all possible futures. And this has just left everybody, I think, on the wrong side of the bed because we have so many multiverse conversations popping up, and I'm like, I get it, I understand it, but at the same time, it's not really necessarily what I think the writers are shooting for. Chapter 13, hands down, one of my favorites. Hands down, probably for the last day, because I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I could have been giddy. I could have rushed out the review as soon as I read the chapter, but it's one of those chapters like, nah, let me look at all of the details. What's actually going down? Why is this so exciting? What's like let's just not release something just off the hype beast, saying the same things, reiterating the same things. No, let's not do that. Let's look at what's going down and let's break down each of these things. And in this chapter, bro, honestly, 10 out of 10. No punches thrown, no swords swung, no jutsus casted, right? But 10 out of 10 of a fucking chapter because honestly, bro, everything that I want, and maybe it's just because my favorite character is Himawari, you know what I'm saying, Sarada, everybody's in the chapter, Boruto is there, Kashin Koji is there, right? And then Kawaki, really interesting way his character is going. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Now, I just want to let y'all know, right now, standing 10 toes on everything I ever said about the man Kawaki. I don't like him. I will never like him. The only way you could ever catch me saying I like him or I respect him, not something that he may have done, you know what I'm saying, but respecting him himself is when he's in the grave and Boruto is looking over him, you know, reminiscing about how he had to kill him because of all the deeds he done. However, I won't deny he did something very interesting, so we'll get to that by the end of the chapter. So, my guy Jura opens up the chapter, really about to finish the deed against Boruto. Looks like it's gonna be GG's for my guy. But what comes out, the bug Shinju, now known to be Mamushi, right, pops up out of Jura's chest, letting him know, yo, Matsuri done did her investigation, and finds out Boruto has an accomplice who's possibly feeding Boruto the information, which Jura deems him so dangerous for. So he knows about the Thorn Soul Bulb. He's about to kill Boruto. His plan is, at the end of the day, he can still eat Kawaki. He cannot forget that Boruto is actually food to him. So when he finds out what Bug tells him, essentially that, yo, someone's probably feeding Boruto the information, what Jura initially said, yo, Boruto, you're dangerous, that statement could be who we know to be towards Kashin Koji. However, he moves along. He's like, yo, my guy Hidari's soul thorn boy about to rot, so we finna go back, you know what I'm saying, get my guy right, and we finna pop back out and really show y'all, right? So we move along. Boruto's popping in and out, and this is where everything gets interesting, right? So in the past, 1 year into the time skip, more than likely, Boruto, you know what I'm saying, he's out here dodging the ninjas, which more than likely look like kind of Sand Shinobi, more than probably Stone Shinobi, I don't know. But he's trying to dodge these shinobi, and Kashin Koji pops out in the cut with the frog, known as Filbert, and he starts talking, and Boruto's tripping, and then he lets him know on the game, basically, you come with me, or you could stay here and figure out how your outcome is going to end, right? So once Boruto pops up in the cave, Kashin Koji surprises him, right? And they get past all of the reminiscing, and we get to all the juicy stuff, finding out about Kashin Koji's latent ability from my guy Shibai Otsutsuki. So everything's just telling me, man, bro, this guy Amato is just like, bro, once things start coming to light, bro, I don't know, bro. It's not really looking too good for my guy. Either he's really planning behind the scenes and he's like the no good, dirty scumbag. But at the end of the day, according to Kashin Koji's ability, the world's coming to an end and it's not by Amato's hands, right? So moving forward, Boruto is figuring out all of these things. And he's kind of taking it with a grain of salt until Kashin Koji let him know, like, yo, bro, at the end of the day, I could show you what your future self learns. And you know what I'm saying? All of the jutsu and moves that you know. And Boruto's like, oh, word, like, let's get to it. You know what I'm saying? It really explains how, you know, back in the data book for Boruto in the official Naruto website, when they say Kashin Koji helped Boruto learn the flying Raijin, now we can come to an understanding of how Kashin Koji has done this. Now, his ability specifically, right, the 10 directions or the prescience or prescience or whatever people want to call it, is the ability that allows Kashin Koji to look into possible futures that is currently going on, you know, from their current reality, possible ways that the current timeline can go, as opposed to what most people, or I should say maybe a lot, or some people think that there's multiple different verses or multiple different timelines which are occurring. But no, Kashin Koji isn't nearly like, you know what I'm saying, peering into an alternate or reality or alternate timeline, but he's peering into different future possibilities that can go on in the current timeline based off of whatever decisions are being made. So basically, after explaining all of this to Boruto, you know what I'm saying, sharpens his resolve. And he's like, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to end it, 10 tails, code, all of that, whatever. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, I got to do what I got to do. And it only proves, because out of everything Kashin Koji sees, everything still ends up the same way. And he's telling Boruto that the way that they want to take is going to be the most dangerous that he has seen up to the current points. So looking back over the events from Naruto Next Generations, right when Kashin Koji first passed out, he's like, oh snap, you know, Kawaki can still kill Boruto and Sarada, back in the scene where we see Boruto squabbling and Sarada popping out and, you know what I'm saying, intervening and popping out in the middle of it. Kawaki kills him, he goes on, he loses the code, and boom, a divine tree is planted by code. In that instance, no omnipotence is casted and none of that goes on. However, continuing the certain events that goes on where code loses to Damon, and then he eventually ends up molding the 10 tails how he does, is multiple futures. Jura ends up being the one that kills Boruto, right? Aside from the one where Kawaki kills Boruto for the second time, and the one where Ishiki ultimately prevails in his plan and kills Baryon Naruto and revives through Kawaki and plants a divine tree. So he's letting Boruto know, bro, it's going to be a dangerous route that we taking, because the possibility of saving Sasuke is there. I've seen it, and he holds off on telling us how it's going to be done, but he lets us know it's going to be the most dangerous future that we can possibly go on. And very, very, very tight rope, because right now we're treading on thin ice, pal. That's basically what he told Boruto at the end of the day, right? So Boruto ends up waking up in the midst of everything that's going on, right? And Kawaki puts on his best impression of, you know what I'm saying, making Konoha great again. So right when Himawari wakes up, she's like, you know, hold my sunflowers, right? You know, what you talk about? I'm gonna go over here, heal the queen Uchiha, heal Sarada's arm. Sarada gets right. She's like, I'm gonna go ahead and heal Boruto. And then Kawaki's like, you know what? Hold my make Konoha great again hat. You know, like, Konohamaru, let's get the deed done. What are you talking about? And Konohamaru makes his best impression. And he's like, yeah, we finna cuff this man and search him diligently and figure out what he's exactly been up to, not knowing he just saved y'all right in front of your eyes. But we can't blame it because of the omnipotence jutsu. So Kawaki does something very interesting here, right? Because essentially when he searches Boruto, he figures out, okay, there's something going down. He always knew Boruto had help, right? He's thinking someone possibly in the village. He looks at the frog, he recognizes it's Kashin Koji's frog, and then he instantly notices. It's hard to tell whether Kashin Koji reverses summons the frog or Kawaki shrinks the frog, but he notices it and he keeps this information to himself, which is very intriguing to me, because it's like, I don't know which way this can go, because Kawaki, he should be feeling if, ands, or buts about Kashin Koji, even though essentially Kashin Koji did help him escape, right? But Kawaki still decided to keep this information to himself. However, whether he got rid of the frog intentionally or the frog just disappeared in his hand, he noticed it's possibly Kashin Koji's frog. That's who's helping Boruto. That's who's Boruto's been talking to. Maybe that's who's Boruto's been getting his information from. It's going to be real interesting going forward in the chapters to come to see how things break down, especially with Boruto being brought to the Hokage, my guy Shikamaru, who they don't know is already on the big dog side. So it's really going to be interesting. But by the end of the chapter, the long suspected fifth Shinju that we talked about through all the spoiler videos is popping up. More than likely, who knows, it can be possible a change going on in the future. And Kishimoto is throwing us a loophole. He's like, bro, I showed y'all a Shinki-like clone right in the future that Kashin Koji saw. And it's going to be a whole different clone that pops up by the end of the chapter. But Jura's contemplating. He's like, man, I need to think of a good name for this man, because after Hidari comes back all intact, he's like, yeah, I should still be the guy, hair still black, right? Bars. And then Jura's like, okay, everything's good. Matsumi's like, let's get it rolling, and then, you know what I'm saying, pop out the new gang member, right? So we're finna see by the end, hopefully they open up chapter 14 with this new Shinju member. But regardless of that, we still have a lot to discuss. Overall review, I think this was probably one of my favorite chapters. I still can't get over the hype for chapter 11 with Himawari versus Jura. That fight was so live, but this chapter, like I said earlier, not a punch, kunai swing, or a sword chakra jutsu being thrown, and it was hype. All of the information and lore dump and gathering that we were able to get this chapter. So it's going to be so much more to talk about moving forward. Let me know your thoughts on the video and how y'all feel honestly about chapter 13 Boruto. I think it was a 10 out of 10. Ain't no complaints really. A whole lot to talk about, and it seems like an endless amount of possibilities, no pun intended, to talk about. But holla at your boy. I'ma holla at y'all. Black Uchiha out. Yes, sir. Ski.